I'm Byron Scott with a CTV News update. You can vote in person or cast your ballot by mail. It'll be your choice in November, according to a decision announced today by the governor. Katira Jones has more.
Governor Larry Hogan issues an order giving voters several options to cast ballots in November. The State Board of Elections has been directed to provide a mix of in-person and vote-by-mail options on Election Day. Early voting centers and every polling location across the state must be open for anybody who wants to vote in person. Election officials are required to send out absentee ballots to every eligible Maryland voter. Now, CTV News will have more from local election officials tomorrow. Reporting in Largo, Katira Jones, CTV News.
Well, for 10 years, CTV has followed the story of a coal ash site in Brandywine and community efforts to shut it down. Now a technicality could lead to the site reopening. Patricia Vallone has our story.
This is the worst possible location to be dumping toxic waste.
Dr. Henry Cole is talking about a coal ash waste site located in Brandywine that sits near a children's playground. Also known as fly ash, it was easy to see why when we visited the site on a windy day back in 2010.
The Brandywine site, which is on North Keys Road, is a disposal site that has been receiving coal waste from Chalk Point, which is in the southern end of Prince George's County, but it's also been receiving coal waste from other facilities owned by the same company.
The location, which was operating on a temporary special exception, eventually shut down after years of litigation. It changed hands several times, and now the company that owns it recently won an appeal over a technicality.
Some 40-some years, this site has not only been operating, but it's accumulated numerous violations. Some of those violations actually do threaten the health and safety of the surrounding community, from contaminated wells and discharges that are unauthorized to local water.
It's very fine particulate matter, can be easily transferred into the air, as we saw, when there's any wind. And these are fine particulates that can be inhaled, respired, and they contain a number of toxic metals, including chromium-6, which is a potent carcinogen, lead and chromium and cadmium, and this is not something that you want people to be inhaling.
Activists say they'd like to see the coal ash waste site shut down for good and for the company to invest in renewable energy. For CTV News, I'm Patricia Vallone.
A victory for the Trump administration. The Supreme Court today siding with the administration in its effort to allow employers who cite religious or moral objections to opt out of providing no-cost birth control to women as required under Obamacare. In a 7-2 ruling, the High Court said the administration acted properly when it made the change which lower courts blocked. The government says the rules change could mean at least 70,000 women would lose contraception coverage. Well, if you need health insurance, time is running out to sign up for the Maryland Health Connection. A special open enrollment period ends on July 15. A second option, called the Easy Enrollment Health Insurance Program, is available to Marylanders who file their state tax returns before July 15th. Simply check the no box on your return that asks if you have health insurance, and someone from the state will follow up with you. For more information, go to MarylandHealthConnection.gov. Well, Employ Prince George's receives a state grant to help residents who've been laid off due to COVID-19. It's using the money for a program called COVID-19 Workforce Recovery Development. It offers free skills training and reemployment opportunities. Officials say the county has seen a significant number of job losses and business closures.
Prince George's County has equated to almost 14% of all unemployment claims in Maryland. So our goal is to help people get reemployed, get access to training, and help businesses who are hiring rapidly rehire Prince George's County residents.
The program will be available until next year. Employ Prince George's is also providing virtual job fairs. A Greenbelt man has been arrested in connection with a domestic-related murder in College Park on Sunday. This is the suspect, 26-year-old Tyree Stewart. Investigators say he shot and killed 26-year-old Taisha Henry inside a hotel room on the 9100 block of Baltimore Avenue. Officials have been called to the hotel for the report of an unresponsive woman. Stewart faces murder charges. Another homicide, another arrest, this one in Tacoma Park. It happened yesterday on the 8300 block of Flower Avenue just after midnight. Police were called to the scene on the report of an assault. The victim is 44-year-old Michael Woods of Hyattsville. He was pronounced dead at a local hospital. 41-year-old Eric Andrews, also of Hyattsville, has been arrested and charged with murder. Well, Montgomery County lawmakers debate new police reform measures. Hearings got underway yesterday on the police use of force and new mental health response teams. Before the hearings, activists gathered at the White Oak Police Station and called for change.
2 years ago, Robert White lost his life. A person, a human being, a community member. We, as a community, lost a life. And yet little has changed. 2 years after that, barely 2 months ago, another person, disabled person, lost his life. And so what do we do in between? If nothing has changed, we have to make the effort to make the necessary changes.
The Public Safety Committee will review the use of force bill tomorrow, and the council is expected to vote on the mental health response teams on July 14th. Well, State Senator Mary Washington says she's boycotting paid advertising posts on Facebook. In doing so, Washington joins hundreds of organizations, groups, and individuals nationwide taking part in the so-called Stop Hate for Profit campaign. The groups accuse Facebook of ignoring flagrant misinformation and hate for profit. So far, more than 400 companies have announced they will stop advertising with Facebook.
Hi everybody, and welcome to this CTV Sports Report. Tonight we are talking Major League Baseball. Spring Training 2.0 continues for the Baltimore Orioles behind me at Camden Yards. And for the first time since they restarted, they'll play an inter-squad scrimmage tonight. Manager Brandon Hyde is excited about what he's seen from his team so far, and the ball club is excited to play a real game.
I think it's gone really well. I'm like I said yesterday, I'm really happy with how this summer camp has gone. I thought we've done a nice job of, spreading out and spacing out our workout and our work days. Now they're long days, but it's gone fantastic. Our guys came in shape here. So that has made it a lot easier, and that they're really ready to go. These guys are itching to enter squad tomorrow. I think they're getting tired of going through the daily workout and ready to play some meaningless games, but at least face pitching and pitchers face hitters in a game environment. So credit to our players and the shape that they came in.
For me, it's really exciting. I was kind of that little kid on the sideline, just not allowed to play during the first spring training and could only watch. So for me to get back out there and get in a competitive atmosphere, obviously it's against our teammates, but we're trying to get each other better. We're all going to treat it as a competitive atmosphere to get ready for game one and the rest of the season. So I'm really excited about it. Looking forward to the opportunity to compete.
I've made the lineups out for tomorrow night and the pitching as well. We're going to keep the pitching, pretty much on their schedule of how they've been throwing. So we got 16 position players playing tomorrow, and we're going to play a 7.5 inning controlled environment inter squad tomorrow evening. Starting for one team is Tommy Malone, and Thomas Eshelman will be starting the other one.
And we will have much more with the Orioles as Spring Training 2.0 continues from right here at Camden Yards. To the NBA, the Wizards are on their way to Orlando to restart the 2020 NBA season, but they got some bad news before they left. Star guard Bradley Beal will not participate. He's out with a shoulder injury.
The delay of time off, certainly, Bradley's shoulder, he took care of it the best he could during this time. But when you go from really zero activity to where we got to ramp up and get ready for NBA games in less than 3 weeks, the very, very last thing we want to do is predispose him to injury. And he's put in the time since we've been able to get back in our facility. He's there every day. He's worked religiously to get this thing back to where it feels right, and it just hasn't felt right. And it's not something that we're looking at that it's going to be a long-term problem, not at all. But wisdom would tell you if it's bothering him right now, let's not go out there and try to do anything that's going to hinder his future. And our future with Bradley is contingent on him obviously being healthy. And the way he performed throughout the season, I think most people would be surprised, but he did play with some pain in that shoulder.
And that is your CTV Sports Report.
And that wraps up our CTV News again for tonight. We'll see you tomorrow, 4:30. Good night.
A lot of my best memories of the holidays are centered around my grandmother. My grandmother's sweet potato pie, it just felt like a hug. I remember every time we'd come to her house, once you open that door, like it just hits you. And you're like, okay, the pies are ready, it's time. Food is a source of comfort. Food really helps bring people together.
You're looking at me in the future. Okay. Hi, Isaac.
Hi. Wait a second.
Do you know who I am?
Julia.
This is Jaina. Into the future.
I just wanted to talk to you about what happened with those two girls. Oh, yeah.
Do you remember it was this girl that I was getting bullied by that one day at PE when they were like yelling at me, and then you just linked arms with me? I don't think you know how much like that helped me, because like I finally like knew that I had somebody. Because of you, Isaac, and what you did for me years ago, I grew up to be more independent and love myself and just be a little bit more confident.
Aw, I'm like a little tearing up right now. Just to see her in the future just blossom and look beautiful, and that was really amazing.
Here are your AARP top tips on caregiver preparedness during coronavirus. First, form a caregiving team. Create a list of people in your family and friend network who can help with caregiving tasks. Take an inventory of supplies in your loved one's home. Try to have a 2-week supply of essential items. Make a list of the care recipient's medications and medical contacts. Be sure to have prescriptions on hand and ask the pharmacist for an extra 30-day supply. Make a plan to stay connected. To prevent social isolation, set up available technology to help loved ones stay connected and schedule regular chats. Finally, maintain your own self-care. Follow the Centers for Disease Control's guidelines for coronavirus safety. And have a backup plan for care in case you become ill. For more caregiving tips during the coronavirus pandemic, go to aarp.org/caregiving.
I moved to Florida with literally pennies in my pocket and a prayer. I needed a new start. Dacian looks like a very typical 3-year-old until you ask him, "What's your name? How old are you?" My son has a lot of behaviors that would show as being autistic. Most kids can tolerate a variety of foods, but unfortunately for Dacian, everything has to be organic and raw. I wasn't ashamed to go to the food pantries. It's expensive to eat healthy, and nutrition is very important to Dacian's health. The healthy, organic food that we receive dramatically helped his social skills. Most people would say, she really doesn't have much of a life. But to me, I have everything right there next to me in my son.
There was a time in my life where I was extremely homesick. I decided that I needed a pet. When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. He jumped up and kissed me and like jumped right into my arms. I immediately went up to the volunteers at the shelter and said, I want him, like he's gotta come home with me. Now I'm anything but lonely. Every day with Turtle is a perfect day and keeps me company when I'm doing schoolwork. I like it when he jumps up on the table too. He is a veggie thief. He's an incredible companion and my best friend. Can't say that I've met anybody that doesn't love him too. When I adopted Turtle, I discovered all the things that make him unique. He's a little bit of a lot of things, but mostly he's all pure love.